So what is energy healing? Energy healing is the process of consciousness folding into the physical form. And when it does that, consciousness is basically folding into its own nature, because our physical bodies are an expression of consciousness. And our attention is consciousness in a very pure or very primordial form. So this primordial form of consciousness, which is awareness, folds into the physical form, which is like we could say very concentrated. It's consciousness that's rolled in on itself a lot of times in order to produce matter. And what that does is it brings the light of awareness to wherever a symptom is. So when we're talking energy healing, we're usually starting with a symptom of some kind. And awareness rolls into where that symptom is. And then the premise here is that consciousness or awareness has the ability to start with a symptom, which is a physical material effect, and follow it back to its source. Like, what's behind the symptom? What caused the symptom? Where is the seed of that symptom? And then what happens is consciousness addresses the seed. And so the nature of the relative is that it covers up those subtler, less manifest level of being. And so what we're doing in energy healing is we're like knowing that. And knowing it, we move past the surface covering and we get down to the more essential levels of the field or ocean of consciousness where the seed of the symptom resides. And then from that level, it's possible to leverage all kinds of effects to support the healing process. So what we're doing in these live healing webinars is you get to ask questions and stuff. Everybody gets a chance to talk and find out whatever you need in order to expand and stabilize your own ability to do this with maximum facility. So, and I'm being the voice of our collective. As a collective, even as I'm describing what energy healing is, already a lot of healing effects are starting. So I do my best in these energy healing webinars to describe what's actually going on, the healing that's actually taking place. We all have this huge potential to heal. The human body's, it's the nature of the human body to heal itself. But when awareness is clearly cognizant of the mechanics of that healing process, then all of a sudden it's enhanced. The healing process is enhanced, it's understood, we're in a position to actually apply intelligence to that process to help work out the details of the healing in a much more efficient and quickly, efficiently. I'm looking at a stabilization of energy in our group right now. So there's a stabilization, and the stabilization is taking place in the area kind of in the upper region of the heart Mahamarma. So there's this big energy center in the heart, and it's bigger than a chakra, right? So the heart Mahamarma, and up in this area, there's a stabilization taking place. Beautiful. And I'm seeing that's like a big gift for the ancestors, because the ancestors tend to be a little skittish about owning this knowledge, owning the taking responsibility for problems, and then owning the ability to find solutions, viable solutions that really work. It's not that the ancestors didn't want viable solutions. It's that there are centuries of habits of dealing with problems by not dealing with them. There's this illusion, which is, for some ancestors are clearing, but I think most of them have already gotten this. The illusion is it's easier to not deal with a problem. And the answer is that's true in the long run. Excuse me, in the short run. In the short run, it's way easier. A problem, I just won't deal with it. That's easy. And that can take care of you for a few minutes or something, for as long as you can get away with it. But in the long run, that's not a viable solution. And in the long run, it's not the most comfortable way to deal with a problem. So that illusion dissolving from the mental and emotional levels of the ancestors. And along with that, so much fear. And along with that, habits of giving away personal power to some other, anybody or anything else that's being defined as taking responsibility for that problem. Because if I decide not to deal with it, then I'm kind of like not taking responsibility, right? Oh, a problem showed up? Well, it's their fault. It's the fault of the situation. No, all that is quickly. It's happening very quickly. It's very quickly. And as that's happening, I'm actually seeing energy focus of attention or awareness in the back of the brain and going down the spine. And it looks to me as if there is some sort of restructuring taking place in the spine, which supports, for yourself and for the ancestors, it supports a physical form, our physical bodies, that are stable in owning our own personal power in a way never before. Much more primordial, much more solid. It's one thing to understand a principle, you know, like, oh, well, I shouldn't hold this belief or something like that. But it's another thing to have it reflected directly into the physiology. And as that's happening, it's going like down the spine. Then I'm noticing the energy coming right back up and coming up into the sinuses and the face and the head area. So it goes down and then it comes right back up like that. And as that's happening, anything to do with the face area is associated with sense of self and identity, particularly as individuals, because we identify ourselves with our faces, right? That's how we recognize people. So that means a nice clearing of egoic, like small self identification, egoic structures for the ancestry, So anytime we're working with the ancestry, we're actually working with DNA. That energy flow that's opening up and moving into the face is able to bring resource, the resources of consciousness and original blueprints and forms of cosmic information to this area of the physiology, to the head, and particularly to this very large energy channel going down the cord of light, going down the middle of the body, and then coming back up like that. There's a lot of energy there. Everybody looks like you guys are all looking like a vessel of divine energy right now. It's very beautiful. And I'm asking to what degree, or I'm asking about the stabilization of that energy form and that clarity in the energy channels of the physiology. The most important area that's being modified by that energy flow is that area that's in the upper part of the heart Mahamarma. And I'm noticing particularly in the back where we this is a little bit picking up where we left off in the last webinar, because there was a lot of great work that took place in the back of the heart Mahamarma at the last webinar. Everybody who's new here, who wasn't the last one, gets all that information and gets that download for that healing now. And so I'm experiencing a big releasing of, I would say, imbalances. Looks like some fear, anxiety. Looks like blockages in the circulatory system are being released, and these come down to actual physical blockages, which is great. And I'm seeing a lot of the fear and there's some very intense discordant feelings that are clearing up in the head, nose, sinus area as well. Congratulations, everybody. And along with that, there seems to be a kind of a flooding of very concise information coming right up into the deeper areas of the brain. And with that, specific information about regarding how to identify the DNA of invasive microorganisms. Yeah, good. It's good. It's good. It's a, you know, like everybody knows it takes about, what, 7 to 10 days to get over a cold, right? Well, it doesn't have to take 7 to 10 days. What takes 7 to 10 days is for the body to recognize the DNA of the invading virus and then produce the protein that kills the virus. And that process of recognizing the DNA of the invading virus can happen really, really quickly. But it does require an upgrade for the immune system. It requires an upgrade for the body's microbiome, because who recognizes the DNA of the virus? Your microbiome recognizes it. So, but that upgrade is being orchestrated by the inner area of the brain. That's what I'm seeing happening. So that's where the download is coming in, to the inner area of the brain, sort of deep brain structures. And a lot of that's really, really close to the sinuses. Like it's just right in back of the sinuses. It's almost as if the sinuses, oh, see, you guys always take me places like I had no idea. So turns out that when we're in the presence of a virus, we actually, the sinuses are one of the first places that the body experiences exposure to that virus. And so the skill set to recognize a virus immediately and to start and to understand where to look in order to extract the DNA information from the virus is just right up there behind the sinuses. That's so interesting. So the thing is, when any part of the body starts to, like awareness or attention goes in there and starts to really focus in on a particular part of the body, it does it because that part of the body is ready to upgrade to its next level of perfect expression of divine intention. Or we could say, binding the boundless infinity of consciousness in the physical form. So that upgrade for the sinuses and then the area of the brain right behind the sinuses, what's happening is that area, now it's full of awareness, right, and attention. It folds back into silence. It folds back into the transcendent. And transcendental consciousness, yes, a single, like an individual isolated part of the physiology can transcend when the rest of the physiology is not transcending. You can do that. Just letting everybody know that that's one of the options. That's like part of the potential of the human body. You're like, your stomach could transcend, or your gallbladder could transcend. Any part can transcend. And when I say transcend, I mean experience the silence of being directly. So that area that just got the download, it's like it offers back to the silence of being. It's like it bows down to the source of creation in gratitude for receiving the download, right? And what that does is it rolls the download, it rolls the information, the cosmic information coming in out to infinity, because the source of creation is infinite. It is unbounded. It is eternal. So anything that's stabilized in that area, even for a moment, has the opportunity to spin out to infinity. And that helps integrate and stabilize the download. Nice job, everybody.